So welcome to the TEDxPlattsburgh new podcast series. I'm Stephane Bilodeau, accompanied by my colleague and friend, Dr. Ayse, Basak, Cinar. Welcome, Ayse. Today we have an incredible guest to exchange with, a young woman, a leader who has already inspired thousands of students in Turkey, our own country, and well beyond. So, Ayse, I will let you introduce Selin Ozunaldim.
Hey, thank you, Stephane. And yeah, it's a privilege to actually introduce Selin because she's not only one of the 300 young activists selected by the United Nations worldwide for gender youth activists, but also the youngest representative of UNWomen's global gender equality movement, HeForShe in Turkey. But I would like to add one thing because Selin was our speaker before at TEDx, and from there we know that Selin has a big heart and she's very compassionate to create an impact in the world. So it's a privilege for us to welcome Selin again today.
It's an absolute privilege. Thank you, Selin. And I can add that you are the founder of the first Girl Up Club in Turkey, and also you're a HeForShe champion, as well as been involved in the We Ground Zero platform, the new video interview platform to inspire and empower Gen Z. That's awesome. So, Selin, today we'll be listening to you. You're a remarkable leader. So let's start with some questions. And we already have introduced you, but we haven't not mentioned a few of the things you have done. For example, co-founding the Girls Who First movement, and it's a robotic-based back in making sure that young girls would have their place in this robotic teams. So that's absolutely great. I've been involved in First Robotic at some point, and I know it's important. So my question, and I'll start with a question related to that. So what would be an action that you have taken or an experience you have been in that you would suggest others could take to help women and girls see their future in the STEM? So STEM, for those who are not familiar with that, it's science, technology, engineering, math, and all that those things related in the fields around that. So a non-conventional pathway, but an important one. So what would be your either experience or action that you would recommend following what you have just done like so many things around this in the last few years?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. The honor is all mine. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm very much looking forward to our conversation. So thank you so much. And to answer your question, I would like to share an experience and / a story of mine, which happened, I believe, 3 years ago, probably because it was before COVID. So as Girls Who Code Turkey, I remember we went to a big company, a well-known company in Turkey, who claimed to be, huge supporters for women's involvement in the STEM field. So we were very excited. I was the only girl who went from the team who went to meet with the company because everyone else was just busy. It wasn't anything intentional or anything, but I was a team leader for that. And when we went there, one of the big bosses welcomed us and totally ignored me, even though I was a team leader, and just started talking with the guys from our team. And just, asking them questions and really just listening to them and just hearing their words. But he totally disregarded me, and I could feel it. But we were there talking about, young girls' involvement and women's involvement in the STEM field, where a young girl was not invited to have a seat at the table. So I think that is a great example of how these issues are so internalized that we don't really recognize them or realize them, that they're happening to us, because it's everywhere. I'm not saying that the person who was in charge was doing this intentional. I don't think that was why it happened that way. It went down that way. It's just that we're so used to it especially, seeing guys at the decision-making procedures and at that table, we don't necessarily think that women are also there, which is very sad to me. So I really want to change that. And I'm not someone who is super involved in the STEM field, which is kind of interesting because many people think I'm like super tech savvy, really good at coding, but that's not actually the case. And this is actually exactly why I wanted to just really be active in Girls to Code Turkey and bringing this movement to Turkey, because I know it's not, it's not my interest, maybe not specifically, but I know that there are literally thousands of and hundreds and thousands of girls, young girls out there all across the globe who are interested in STEM, who want to learn about coding, who want to do, robotics and want to really just get their hands dirty, but they're not given the people don't give them the opportunity, the same opportunities as their male colleagues or just classmates. So even though it didn't necessarily affected me personally directly, I wanted to do something, and that is exactly why. So I would say one of the most crucial things we can do, and it may sound so easy to do, but in fact, when you are trying to do it, it's not, just really having women, just giving them the mic. It's not only about listening to them, but also hearing their words. If you want to learn about what the challenges are for women in the STEM field, ask them. If you want to learn about what you can do, just ask them, because they want to share their experiences and they want to give you some advice or the things that they need, etc. But even though we're sometimes being asked, we are not incorporated in during the decision-making procedures. So we really need women in the decision-making table as well, and just taking the lead in that sense. That is just absolutely crucial, if you ask me. And one last thing is, I was talking to the country manager of Dell Technologies a couple of weeks ago, and she said something to me. In many events that she attends, apparently, the moderators introduce her as the women country manager of Dell Technologies. But we never hear a moderator saying, oh, this is the male, country manager of this tech company. So it's almost like maybe they're trying to do a good thing by just really showing that a woman is in charge, and they're trying to amplify that. But it's also just, a way of showing that there is a massive gender gap there. So it's really important for us to have these conversations and really shift the narrative as well.
Absolutely important. Selin, you're absolutely right. And it's crucial, as you said. I think the word is absolutely pertinent here. And this is something, you're right, there are many reasons for girls and women to be involved in STEM. So much that it's not understandable that we as a society don't let the place that is that should be reserved for women. And that's not because it's more like the availability that is a problem rather than the will, because I know so many absolutely awesome women in that field. So it's just for the rest of the world to let this space available. So thank you. This is a great answer. Maybe Ayse, you have a question as well, so I'll let you go ahead with
Yeah, I have a question, as well. Yeah, but these are great points, and I think this is one side of the problem is growth mindset, especially how boys and girls are just grown up in the society. I mean, males are expected to be assertive, competitive, while girls are expected to be nurturing, and this is creating unconscious bias, especially at workplaces. So that is why we always say that mindset shift is one of the keys for
100%.
gender equality climb. Yeah, I think still you have a very long way to go, but I can see that your passion. So that is great. That's a great start.
Thank you.
Yeah. And my question is, I can see, as I said, you are very purposeful and action oriented. So how having a purpose plays a role in your success? So,
Um, Thank you so much. So first of all, I would say that, as you said, women are expected to be, more nurturing, just, have empathy and just like, be so sweet. I just wanted to give one example because I've been involved in this field since I was 15, so that was 5 years ago. Um, and I was a minor and I was a high schooler, and plus I was an adolescent girl. So I remember whenever, like literally whenever I go to events or meetings, etc., the minute I would tell my age, the reaction or the conversation would just shift and be like, a pat on the back and saying, "Oh my God, you were so sweet. You're just such a sweetie. Oh, you're changing the world. That's so cute." That's kind of an attitude. But when a guy does the same thing, if a boyfriend of mine who is at the same age doing the exact same work, people would call them, "Oh, you're just such a leader. You're going to, change the world. You're going to be the leader of tomorrow." So that is just very interesting. And I honestly have been told bossy my whole life. And I want every, young girl to just really internalize that. I'm sure all of us have been called bossy at one point in our lives. And you're not bossy. You are the boss. You are the boss. You're the boss girl. And that is amazing. So having a purpose, just circling back to your question, is I would say if I hadn't had a very strict purpose in my life, I wouldn't be necessarily doing this because, especially in the world of social media and internet, it can be really hard to maintain a healthy balance. Um, it's not always, very glamorous and rainbows and sunshines, especially because I get featured on the news and magazines, etc. And at first, I wasn't very, comfortable just because I didn't want to be the face of something. I just had a mission and I wanted to accomplish that. So, just, seeing those kind of backlash, if I didn't believe in the work I'm currently doing, I wouldn't just bother to get through all those mental health stuff. So that's one thing. And the other is whenever I turn on the news, I see something bad happening. It doesn't have to be only in Turkey, but in our region, all across the globe. Even though we are taking, it's almost like we're taking 3 steps ahead and 5 steps backwards when it comes to gender equality and even sustainability, really. So just seeing those examples is like my own fuel, and receiving messages and emails, people coming up to me and saying that, "You know what, because of the work you do, I want to do, I want to change something, I want to do something," is just such another feeling. It's just such an amazing feeling that I could never give up. It's just such an interesting thing to have such impact on someone's life, even if it's like one person. Maybe that one person is going to be the one who changes it all. So it's like a domino effect. And seeing young women being at their best self and being their best self and just finding their inner strength and inner power and creating just achieving that global gender equality, breaking those stigmas and taboos and stereotypes, and seeing that in my country, seeing the results in my circle and country and society that I live in, it's just a whole nother thing. I don't know, it's amazing, really.
Yeah, this is impressive. And before giving the floor to Stephane, I would like to say that you are really inspiring not only for young girls. I think you should be a model for also the older ones, because I will not give your age, but I will just I will give a secret. We mentioned who is Selin and her achievements, her passion, but she's not older than 20. So watch out that. Not older than 20. Please, yeah.
Maybe I see you, Celine, you just talked about this Turkey, and I think I see you have a question touching the situation in Turkey right now. So maybe you want to dig into that right away, and I'll continue with the other questions afterwards.
Okay. So yeah, that's a perfect timing, I think. So could you please tell us about the work you are involved in helping women and girls affected by the earthquake in Turkey? Because I think this is much needed to be heard from the people, because people need to hear about what's going on, how people are helping, and what's going on.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for bringing this up. It's crucially important. As many of our viewers may already know, 2 independent earthquakes in Turkey happened, which affected 10 different cities across Turkey. And then another earthquake occurred, I believe, 2 weeks afterwards. So it's just, over 30,000 people unfortunately lost their lives, and it's just such a catastrophe. It's like it's literally like it popped off from a movie. And girls and women are at a higher risk in situations like these and catastrophes like these, because they're the first ones to lose their right to education, first of all, especially in the more eastern side of the country. This topic is still debatable, unfortunately. Many of the cases where we see girls not attending to school or dropping out at an early age, unfortunately, is on the eastern side of the country where the earthquake occurred. So it is crucially important. It is absolutely vital to make sure that those girls can continue their education, their right and need to have an academic life. And furthermore, it's not only that, but one thing people really don't think about, and it's in my opinion, a way of proving that, unfortunately, the global gender gap. For like days in the need list, like the urgent need first aid list, we didn't see menstrual hygiene products, because unfortunately menstruation is still kind of a stigma, like a taboo. So unfortunately many people were hesitant to write down menstrual hygiene products on those lists, because they didn't know if they could receive a backlash, if it was like kind of a taboo, and they were hesitant. So we needed pads and tampons, but we had lack there, and we also couldn't have access to, like, the people who were affected by the earthquake didn't have access to diapers. That is a very important thing as well. So when we're thinking about sending products to the earthquake victims, we also have to think about babies and women. And I've heard that a friend of mine went to Hatay, which is one of the most affected cities. And she told me that there was a female volunteer who would distribute the pads and tampons, because people were, even though people who were affected by the earthquake didn't want to go up to some random or like a male volunteer to ask for pads, which is their need. Of course it is a need. It's like water and food. But because it is such a taboo, and people may think it's kind of personal, if you will, they were hesitant to ask, so they had to assign a female volunteer to do exactly that. I think it's just a way to really see the gender gap and why we need to talk about this. So I think this is a great segment for me to promote my friend's non-governmental organization called We Need to Talk, founded by Ilayda and Bahar, dear friends of mine, who are dedicated to donate, fund and donate and send menstrual hygiene products to women, to the menstruators in need. So if anyone is interested, be sure to check that out. And my friends and I, we just for a week straight went to the help centers and just did packaging, loading them, ship things, loaded them to trucks all day, and it was just, again, like a movie where we saw that life literally stopped in Turkey for 2 weeks.
Yes, tragedy.
And people, yes, everyone was just helping. It was so touching.
Absolutely, and you're right pointing out your friend's initiative. That's an important one, and we'll be pleased to put that in our channel. So just don't hesitate to share the links and the ways to help is needed, definitely. And as you said, also, women and girls are more affected for different reasons. You gave a few. It's absolutely important that it's taken care of and taken into account. So thanks for this. So I have another question, which is looking like an open-end question. So it's more like looking to the future. So we've talked a lot about what happened, whether it's in Turkey, the huge tragedy that is still unfolding, by the way, but also your past and what you've done, your initiatives. But how do you see the future? So let's look on the other direction. How do you see the future? And some are kind of worrying, others are preparing for the future. How do you see it, and how you would differentiate on which side, or how you deal with what will happen, what will be the future?
I'm hopeful, to be honest. Good. Because just for example, all of my cousins are younger than me. To give more like a personal info and personal experience, to share that. And it's really so interesting to see how their perspective has changed, when looking at my grandparents and then looking at my younger cousins, how in just a couple of generations, a whole mindset could change in a very positive way. And my grandparents are very forward-looking, very modern people as well, but, just how these new generations can adapt to change is just a whole nother level. Every generation is just getting better and better, and they're the proof of that. For they are so open to things, or they're just so cool with the things that even my generation kind of struggled with or found, or what was a taboo to us. For instance, my brother is 9 years older than me. And I was watching, this is just a very, from my life, very unfiltered experience. I'm a massive Harry Potter fan, and we were watching Harry Potter, of course. Yeah. And so Professor Dumbledore is a gay character who is in love with Grindelwald, his arch nemesis. And there was a line that was hinting that, and my brother said, hold on, can a guy be in love with a guy? And I was like, yes, of course. a woman can love a woman, and it can be like, you know, a heterosexual relationship, etc.
Mhm.
So we sat down and we just really explained him what that, like, you know, what the LGBTQ is and the community, etc. And he said, oh, okay, and then just continued to watch the movie. Then a couple of minutes later, I remember he paused the movie and said, but hold on, a man and a woman can get married, but a man and a man cannot. That's not fair. And I was just so wowed.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense.
I was like, wow.
Discussion is making people, yes, that's a great example coming from your own story, but this is absolutely something I think we might have seen in so many places. Great example, with Harry Potter on top of that. So great point. We're close to towards the end. I would like to get maybe some insights, a message that you would like to share, or maybe an initiative you work on, or a message itself, or how you deal. I can give you some examples. You choose whatever you wanted to close with, or how you deal with the challenges you're facing, because you've done many things, and you've said that sometimes people were not understanding. They would treat you like you were role your bossy. Others would not understand. So how do you deal with these challenges? Because when you're achieving a lot of things, definitely you face bumpy roads sometimes and tough times. How do you deal with that? That could be part of the message, or you can just talk about an initiative you want to open on. So I'll let you just closing on what you would like our listeners to get. Last message from you.
Of course. Thank you. So I would say regarding how I kind of overcome those obstacles is just having a very strong family and friends, like a support group in a sense. I would say like a safety net almost. I just have, you know, a small community of my own, in a sense, just a couple of, you know, just my closest friends who I go up to, you know, to ask for things, ask for advice, or just, you know, to ask them for calm me down. And just, you know, things I share and just, you know, or confront with my family, and just having them and their genuine support is what really makes me going, in a sense. And furthermore, as I previously mentioned, whenever I receive a message or, you know, email, when someone comes up to me and tells me that I'm the reason they want to do something, or just asking me, what can I do? I want to be a part of change. That just means the world to me. It's like nothing else matters. There can be, like, you know, troll writing something bad about me, or just someone literally yelling at me, or, you know, my family. Nothing really matters the second when someone tells me that, because it is just such a genuine way to see that this is bigger than us. This is bigger than me, bigger than us. It's just it's just, you know, millions of people creating real change in the real world. And it's not about change is going to come, it is coming, etc. No, it's already here and it is happening. So just seeing those examples really keeps me going, and just having that safety net, I would say. And for an organization, I would once again like to talk about We Need to Talk, not sponsored. They're just one of my closest friends initiative, who is also the former young leaders for the SDG for UNWomen. They're dismantling period poverty and stigma in Turkey. And if we could like share their link, that will be amazing, because they're currently donating.
We'll surely do, Cindy, for sure. That's an awesome.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing, because currently they are sending menstrual hygiene products to the cities that were affected by the earthquake. And for the menstruators there, they're doing like a field study and field work there at the moment. So it would be great if anyone would like to support them. That would be amazing.
That's an invitation, and we'll definitely share
Yes.
the link so people will be able to jump on their website and do what they can do to help, because they are helping people in the field in a difficult situation. And you're right. One of the key challenges is to have support. You can get it from your family, from your friends, as you said, but you can also get it from organization in which you feel, I would call that like-minded people, which are forward thinking. So that's important. So you can have it built in from your family and friends, but you can also find others. It's a really great insights that you gave. Thank you very much, Stephane. You're a remarkable woman, a young woman, but you have achieved so much in just a few years. It's impressive. You're a model even for me, like an old man like me. Is impressive. Thanks very much. So thanks,
Thank you.
thanks very much. And we'll have other. I just want to close with our listeners. We'll have other guests in the coming weeks. We'll just stay tuned and keep looking at our website. We'll share the links that Selin just talked about with the initiatives, and you'll be able to listen to it. Great discussion with Selin. Thank you. Thanks again. And certainly many new things you'll come up with in the future. I see that already. That's why how I see the future. I see many other things you'll do. You're a great person. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.